Welcome back, everybody, to Torment, Tides of Numenera, episode 106. Last time, we battled our way into the heart of the bloom, and now we're in the heart. So let's go ahead and look around, see what we can find. I believe that's the creature that we helped earlier. Ahead you see a mess of bloom tongues, bigger than any you've counted thus far. They wave gently, as if beckoning you forward. Your companions hesitate, looking to you. Let's see. Do you have any insight, Calestige? I'm usually one for experimentation, but this... She looks at you, her face a shine. There's no telling what it will demand of you, child. Look at me and tell me if you don't want this fate. Yours could well be worse. She turns again to face her wriggling mass. Now, know what you are willing to sacrifice. This is my advice for you. How many of my sisters would I give for myself? I dare not even think that way. Alright, what do you think, Tiber? Tiber? There we go. You're asking me? I don't want to come here in the first place. He wipes his forehead, his easy smile gone. Be smart, lad. You know what you come for. Don't accept any less. And don't give any more than what it's worth. That's that. That's all I got. I should have stayed in Sigis. Nothing worth this risk. And just for fun, here it is. What do you think? Thinking? Nothing. A broad smile splits his face. But this is the greatest adventure a hero has ever adventured, isn't it? I'll go alone. I don't want to sacrifice my teammates. Alright. Let's get all tonguey. Before you looms a twisted mass of tubes, arteries, roots, and tongues, heaving and pulsing in the murky light. The flesh glimmers with foul shades of purple and black, pocked with pustules and necrosis. Disgusting. Bloom whispers gather swarming around you like fat buzzing flies. They sound distracted, confused. As you step closer, bloom tongues surround you, drawing you into a wet, nauseating embrace. Though they seem solid and corporeal, they somehow pass through your flesh, thrusting into your head, your limbs, and your guts, igniting prickly, hot, cold sensation all over your body. A multitude of bloom voices chatter, babble, clearly alarmed by your intrusion, but unable to muster an attack upon your mind. For the moment, the feeding of the Abucus has made them tired and weak. New we don't want to hurt the bloom. I'm not going to be a dick about it. Infiltrate the bloom's mind, I guess. See what how this works. 100%. Let's do this. Slowly, carefully, you extend your thoughts into the tubes and conduits of the heart, gently testing your ability to contract the muscle. A muscle here or widen an artery there. You can hear the bloom's voice all around you, but they don't seem alarmed. Either they don't sense you at all, or they don't perceive your intrusion as a threat. As you explore the limits of your new perceptions, you begin to understand the heart's composition. The fleshy nodules that serve as sensory organs. The tubes and arteries to feed the intelligence that dwells here. The roots of innumerable whispering minds that descend to the spot from every corner of the bloom, 10 million together to join their voices into a mad, chaotic union. Well, we said we'd do it, so let's try to look for the guy. There. Found him. While your thoughts are drawn to the bloom, you can almost understand its voices. A whisper will spark a fleeting image in your mind's eye. A hiss will elect a flash of anger or desire or some alien emotion that you can't even comprehend. As you listen and watch, you see an occasional image of a vague human figure. When you focus on them, try to hold them still, you see an isolated pocket of flesh, a cyst filled with thick black juices, in which the man floats curled up like a fetus. The cyst is wrapped carefully in fleshy tendrils and knotted muscles, watched closely by tiny chittering minds that were spawned for exactly this purpose. Try to take control. Why not? Yay, great success. Moving slowly and cautiously, you follow the faint whispers of the tiny chattering minds. You watch over Ishan. Ishan? I don't know. They're not far from the heart, centering around a foul little cyst. Just as you suspect, when they sense your approach, they squeal in alarm, but you overwhelm and silence them. You sense the remains of the transdimensional rift in the cyst, probably the same rift that the bloom used to capture Ishan in the first place. It should be possible to reopen the rift and set him free, but the bloom will know when you do. Alright. I'll try to reopen that after I do a little messing around with this thing. Examine the bloom's memories. Right rope. Floating unnoticed among the bloom's innumerable voices, you allow yourself to drift deeper into its mind. As the voices whisper amongst themselves, you begin to see a brief image. To your heart sounds. You feel hunger or satiation. These are its memories of the past. Screams echo in your ears, and as many men and women are pulled into maws, their thoughts and personalities devoured, or simply altered, scrambled, changed into monstrous forms. You see limbs torn from bodies by eager bloom tongues, each eyes plucked out to see the tendrils can slide gently into their sockets to reach the brains. Ugh. For a moment you see Gristler, the bloom guide, trapped in the embrace of the maw, and you can taste the raw flesh of his legs. As the maw tears them off and devours them, you know in the moment that the bloom will eat of him again and again, reveling in the taste of his undying faith that it will provide for him. A faith that is so ill-founded. And everywhere you see it and hear the Memvor, flashes of her early days, gathering followers to overthrow the old Memvor, while publicly pledging her loyalty to him. Her rebellion against him as they slaughtered his people and dragged him down to the heart, binding him so that the tongues could feed upon him slowly. In all the years of his ruthless rule. In all that time she has never changed. Her face is the same now as it was when the bloom first saw her. It drifted me deeper. Who knows? All around you whispers and chitters yield to more alien sounds. Clicking, gurgles, and dissonant, tones. The memories change with them. Monsters stalk the corridors of the bloom. Gelatinous? Hulks with flickering letters and numbers writhing beneath their skin. Multi-limb machines with legs that skitter through 100 dimensions at once. Godlings formed from cities killing detonations with voices of fire and smoke and screams. Flashing before your eyes are all the worlds the bloom has seen. and there are hundreds of thousands. Jeez. You can sense the city creature crawling across the time and dimensions. Since the universe was young, perhaps longer. Its voice changing, its flesh adapting, its senses changing. Your mind begins to hurt, barely able to comprehend the sensory impressions that are continued within the most distant memories. Fighting the urge to scream, you disengage, at last allowing yourself to drift slowly back to the surface of Bloom's mind. Yet, even with that brief exposure, your senses have broadened, and you are better able to comprehend the impossible. Not even your sire dared to gaze so deep into the alien mind. Sweet! I am now a smutter. Speaking of which, do I have anything to increase my stats? Was hoping to have something that would heal my intelligence. Oh well. The other arteries, right? Observe and watch the biological patterns. Why not? Over time, you listen carefully to the blooming pulsing in the heart. You observe its movements, but it teaches you a little more than you already know. Fluids are pumped here from elsewhere, and blah blah blah. You seem to feed many voices. Blah blah blah. Observe the bloom's voices. More mystical. You attend closer to the innumerable voices, chittering and whispering in the darkness of the bloom's mind. Each of these voices is a tiny intelligence, a semi-autonomous piece of bloom consciousness, and there are millions of them, perhaps tens of millions. The bloom can spawn them at will, increasing its ability to think and perceive, planting them into maws and tongues and organs. It can also devour them, cannibalizing its own screaming minds. Contemplating the bloom's intelligence as a whole, you have an impression of the mind that it always shifting, never constant, giving birth to countless fragments of itself, even as it devours others. Why not? Hey, succeed. Quietly, cautiously extend your consciousness into bloated little sacs that quiver on the surface of the heart within its many conduits. If you wish, you could put them into a sort of slumber that would make it harder for the bloom to sense your presence. Let's see what this happens. Hey, I succeeded at all. Sweet. I didn't think I'd succeed at those two. Taking great care to avoid detection, you slip your thoughts into the tubes and arteries, assuming control of them. The fluids feed the channels that coalesces here. If you choose to do so, you can contract all the arteries at once, depriving them of energy. I could kill the heart. Not, definitely don't want to do that. Put the sensory organs around the heart to sleep. Yeah, all over the heart, the blubbering nodules slowly deflate, sinking into a torpor. To your relief, the bloom makes no sound of alarm. Let's see. Now that I put itself to sleep, I might be able to do this without them freaking out. I'm honestly not going to do this. I have no intention of killing the bloom. You whistle softly to the rift, and it begins to take shape. It stirs, and the knotted muscles that surround the cyst tremble with alarm. The heart is slow to respond thanks to your limited control of its functions. But as the rift is about to open, thousands of chittering voices hiss and rage. They rock the cyst to and fro, causing the rift to unravel again. At once, fluent voices rise all around you, shrieking and chittering, trying to get you out of their mind. Is this really not doing no, just persuasion. Well, here's hoping. Hey, why not? Why don't I just succeed at all of this? The bloom's innumerable voices swarm over you, but your will is strong and you stand out firm. The terrible groan is like the cry of some undersea leviathan, shakes the whole heart. Then the voices go quiet and the scene begins to play out in your mind's eye. A memory stolen by the balloon from someone else. The perspective of is a woman's. And she is speaking to a man. You recognize the changing god at once, though his body is an old one from long ago. The pair stands upon a circle of gold, the sky overcast and clouded above them. Malavast. Not even your handiwork is proof against time, murmurs the woman, turning her voice from the changing god to hide it. I am a monster, she thinks, rotting from the outside in. No more, Muriel, says the changing god. I have no way of fixing you, but you need not live in shame. He reaches into a pouch, and the woman knows what he means to give her something. His gifts are always wondrous, but if you accept them, you're never the same again. The changing god hands her a mask. The expression is enigmatic, she notes, just as their relationship has become. A pretty thing, she says, feeling bitter, disappointed. I can just as well wrap my face in bandages or cover my head with a sack. Put it on, he insists. Of course, she realizes there is something more to this gift. She raises it to her face. The memory stops, cut off by the bloom. Its voice chitters insistent. They want you to finish it, to recall your sire's memory of this event. Alright, let's try. You delve into your hidden memories, seeking the moment the bloom was just showed you. To your surprise, the bloom voices are beside you, helping you focus, pushing aside similar memories that distract you. At last, the memory surfaces. It isn't exactly as the one remembered. The details are different, like the color of her robe in the sky above. Clear and blue in your sire's recollection, but now you recognize her for who she is. Muriel, the first cast-off. Dun dun dun! She holds the mask you gave her. Put it on. Put it on, you hear yourself say. And she places the mask over her face. And once it seems to meld with her flesh, and her face becomes that of a lovely young woman. Her eyes wide, knowing that something has changed, and you hold up a looking glass for her to see. She laughs aloud, a sound you haven't heard from her in your years. She's the Minbora. I just figured it out. She's the Minbora. Yep. You can change this. You can change your face at will, you say to her. Try it. Muriel nods, watching the looking glass carefully as her face morphs into that of an old woman, then a homely beggar lady, then a Virgilian, then a dozen more. Last face you see is a dark-haired regal on bearing. It is the face of the Minbora. Haha, knew it. Accompanied by the distant sounds of hunger from the bloom, the memory fades. The heart offers no explanation as to why it showed you this memory. But the implication is clear. The Minbora is merely a disguise, a mask that concealed the first cast-off. She has been alive, hiding behind the false identity for years. Let's see if it says anything. Try to form a question in a way that Bloom will understand, but either fail or it ignores you. Instead, the air chamber ripples at once. A transdimensional rift tears itself into being, and a human figure topples out, dripping black juice, coughing and gagging, vomiting on the floor. You recognize the man as at once. It's Mezov, the cast-off artificer you met in Zerdana Daywalker Mira, the memory thing that we looked at earlier. Your first thought is that the Bloom was somehow tricked you. Reached the wrong man, but no. The Bloom voice is insistent. Ishin is Mezov. But first cast off concealed the truth from you to avoid arousing suspicion. Alright. For a moment, Mezov is recovering from his ordeal, barely aware of the surrounding. He doesn't even seem, he hasn't even seen you yet. The bloom tongues slide painlessly out of your body, setting you free. They show no further interest in you, and that whispering voices are gone from your mind.
Nothing can stop me
Sweet.
now.
Mizov rises, clutching himself, and he abruptly vomits a cloud of black fluid, into glistening flesh beneath his feet. Small red wounds mar the flesh between the wires crisscrossing his skin. Gods, he growls. Gods! He looks up to you. His mechanical eye sockets spin out, wheels within wheels, focusing on your face. You're the cast-off that was riding Zirian Daywalker. What the hell are you doing down here? Technically, saving you. Oh, he grunts. The first sent you? Not surprised. She won't be getting the residence taper working on her own. It's all too easy to destroy the damn thing if you don't know what you're doing. Something about the words said in his voice stirs a memory in you. Residence chamber. The sensation builds. He winces, teeth clenched. God, the bloom is a terrible host. Stuck in damn tongues into my guts to force feed me. Fill my lungs with bile. Not sure what you did get me out, but thank you. He spits black tinge wad of phlegm over his shoulder. Well, how do you get out of here? She's waiting, and you know she how she is. Hold on. How do you end up being a prisoner to begin with? The bloom took me, he says with a careless shrug. I'm not surprised that it's not happy with the first. But you probably already knew that. So it took me because it knows that I'm important to her. He says this casually and without the faintest taint of pride. Anyway, I should get back to the first. She's going to be... He was a hand. Well, you know. I don't know, actually. I thought I was working for the Mem4 until just a few minutes ago. His expression goes wooden. Skiss, he says, rubbing his forehead. Look, don't tell her I said anything. I don't need anyone shouting at me right now. Let alone her. It's the worst headache I've ever had. But a headache is uncoiling through your head now as well. Alarm spreads over Mezzo's face, and he reaches out to catch you as you topple forward. You're underwater, and the fading pulse of sonar alarm ripples through the water. Then it is gone. An invisible pressure crushes your body, squeezing your head. A Gibbera, with a cast-off tattoo, rises from the dark to confront you. I should have known. You need something of ours to finish your residence chamber. Don't you, father? He regards you with scorn. You haven't learned anything. You would sacrifice all of us for a chance at survival. You and the first pride blinds you both. You're wrong, Thum. You snarl, yet his words frighten you, and he is, as he says, Rella's alive, and her own plan is to stop the sorrow. She must be stopped. Any plan of hers would be dangerous. I built the resonance chamber to save us all, you say. It has the power to weaken the sorrow. I can kill the creature. A half-truth. The chamber certainly has the power, but who knows if it would be enough to kill. Will you apologize to me then, selfish child? Will you beg me for forgiveness?
Updated my journal.
You lie. You always have. Thum says calmly. Although your motives differ, Meryl's plan and yours will result in the same end: the destruction of every last cast-off. I will not allow this to happen. He makes a complimentary gesture with his fingers, and the pressure on your head increases. Thum's voice grows muffled and fades in as your mind, your sorrow's consciousness, flees his imprisoned body. abandoning it to the gibbery in favor of a new host. You return to consciousness and the headache fading. Your mouth tastes of seawater or blood. Light and wet, your head blazes the side of your face as the bloom opens a transdimensional portal. You can't be sure where it leads, but it's certainly your only way out. Someone Mazov is bracing you, holding you up. You all right? Mazov, what is the first plan with the chamber? Just sever he gives you an odd look. You know, maybe you should ask her. I don't know enough about what's going on here. Just know that it'll free us from the sorrow, without sucking us all into someone else's mind. That should be enough. He shrugs. She can't do it without me, though I best be getting back. Patting you awkwardly on the shoulder, he limps up past you into the portal and vanishes. It's only when he's gone that you see the glittering contour of a small object laying where Mazov was standing. A mere caster. Must have fallen from Mazov's pocket. You wiped the sign from the joints of the machine and added to your belongings.
I'll remember that.
Interesting. Alright. Jeez, close to leveling. Alright, so we have a new mirror caster or whatever it's called. A spherical object of familiar gold greenish metal. The object seems to be constantly moving, rotating in different directions. When you hold it, you can't feel the slightest hint of friction. You feel the clicking whir of countless mechanisms moving within, the device generating almost intolerable heat. Alright, we're going to look at this next time. So until next time, remember, brace the chaos or you'll go mad. Bye.